Hey guys, and welcome to episode 6 of Live with Lewis. My guest here today is Jacob Gage Moore, but Gage
Yeah.
for me. Roll the intro. Gage, how you been?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm pulling up my notes.
Okay.
So, Gage, I start out the podcast the same, pretty much everybody.
Okay.
Just a few questions, and then we'll get into the questions.
Okay.
Where'd you grow up?
Mostly around here. I mean, I've kind of been here and there and everywhere. Mostly around here, around the surrounding counties, really. Around Bath, Carter, probably. Spent about a year in Illinois, but it's probably in like 5th, 6th grade. So, it wasn't really nothing too prominent for me. And yeah, besides that, I've been here.
What's it like in Illinois?
It was odd. I mean, I was younger, so from what I can remember of it, it's typically when you're that age, you imagine you're in school, like you got recess, you go outside, there's like all kinds of stuff to run around and do. But when I was there in that school, you go outside to a big fenced in area and it's just blacktop.
Really?
Yeah. And then you just see like, the streets and then people's houses, and that's it. It's just blacktop.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because I've talked in a podcast before, but I've been to Seattle
Yeah.
and to Georgia.
Really?
And that's the only two places I've ever been. I've been in Tennessee too.
Yeah.
I went on my honeymoon to Tennessee, but like everything's so much different. I never would have like pictured going to school anywhere. Like I
Right.
went to school like in Round County from like K through 12.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
I mean, it was a really like different experience. Obviously at that time I'd never really been out of my hometown.
Yeah.
So one, that was a big change. Two, it was also winter time and it was a lot colder up there.
Yeah.
And I hated it.
Was
I
there a lot
just
more
don't like
snow?
the
You remember the snow?
Yeah, definitely. If I remember correctly, around that time, if you were here, it was probably like, I don't know, in the low 10s and 20s.
Yeah.
But there it's like negative. It was like negative 10, like every day.
Yeah. So
And I hated it.
You had a little coat, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
So obviously did you go to like high school in Ram County?
So let's see, high school. I went to Bath County all through middle school. 9th grade, I spent like 90% of the school year in Bath County.
Yeah.
And then the end of the year, I moved back to Round, and then I finished school from then on.
That's
here.
cool. Yeah.
So
Round County graduates.
yeah, man, it was weird at the time. Like I had spent so much time in Bath County that I got used to it. And, of course I'd went around before and I was familiar, but coming back after being gone for like 3 or 4 years, I just felt so out of place. Like I didn't like belong here anymore,
Yeah.
And like
Everybody had their cliques and everything.
Yeah. I was super timid for a little while, but it caught back on.
Yeah. So what'd you do after high school?
After high school, I graduated. I went to college for a semester. I just went to MCTC.
Yeah.
I went for like business management. In high school, we had like the career pathways.
Yeah.
And mine was always business. I mean, it was just something I was interested in growing up. And I just realized after about a semester, it just at the time it wasn't for me. Like I just felt like there was so much going on at the time that I wasn't ready for it.
Right. See, I didn't go to like I still haven't went to. I'm thinking about going back to college, but I mean, I've been out of the scene so long. I don't know, but like with me, I started where I work like 2 weeks after high school.
Really?
Yeah.
And been there ever since?
Yeah, going on 6 years.
That's crazy.
So
that's a long time.
Yeah, I've been. Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I would love to go back, and I'm a lot different now. Obviously, all these years later, there's different things I'm interested in, different things I want to do. I would definitely love to go for things with like computers, like maybe coding or learning, just different stuff about computers. But I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of like, there's a certain like headspace of being worried about going back to school, all that responsibility, still working, and trying to just live your life on top of all that stuff. Because I know that stuff's hard. Like, I know plenty of people.
Yeah. So, dude, so you went to college for a year probably, and then just realized it kind of wasn't
Well, actually, it was about 2 semesters. I went through the first semester, however long that is. It was probably like the spring semester.
Yeah.
The fall rolled around, and I pretty much flunked like
Yeah.
hardcore. I just wasn't
You
ready
want to,
for
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
I understand
and
that.
I pretty much flunked through that. And then I lived with my mom at the time.
Yeah.
And she was like, like, I really want you to go to school. I really want you to, get through college and have your degree and be able to, go from there.
Yeah.
And, she kind of like coerced me into
Yeah.
going back for that second
Yeah.
semester. And I just knew that it wasn't going to go well. And I made it a decent way through it and was like, like, what's the point? Like, I'm just
Yeah.
going to flunk out of this again. I'm just going to feel like, like I can't do it.
Yeah.
So I just went ahead and was like, I'm just going to go and get out of this,
Yeah.
start working, and
What'd you start
see
working
where
at?
that goes. Around that time, I quit there. I quit doing the school, and I went to Walmart, and that
Yeah.
was my first job.
Yeah. See, my
Yeah.
first job was in high school. And
Yeah.
I worked at McDonald's for 3 months.
Horror stories.
Yeah. Saved up enough money for gas money for my senior year. And I was like, you know what? McDonald's isn't okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't really like this. And yeah, that ended pretty poorly. But other than that, and then I finished my senior year, and then I started at the plant board. And then never looked back.
That's right.
So how long did you work at Walmart?
It's about a year and a half. I can't really say, the exact time frame.
Yeah.
But it was about a year and a half. Most of my time there, I worked. It's called Cap 2.
Yeah.
I worked in the back, unloaded trucks, stock stuff. It's really about it.
Yeah. And then where'd you go after that?
After that is whenever I went to BP.
BP,
the one on 801 with the subway.
Cave Run. Is it Cave Run?
Lake
Mart. Yeah.
Lake Mart, yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. So where'd you start out doing at BP?
Well, I wanted to go up there because I had a bunch of friends up there.
Yeah.
Everybody that I went to school with was working there at the time, and it just felt like a better place for me to be.
Yeah.
I went up there and just kind of did the usual stuff, just clean stuff up,
basically just
bring
worked in
people
a
up.
store.
Yeah, just kind of worked there, just hung out really.
No, they got the Subway side and the BP side.
Yeah.
Did you work the BP side or the Subway side or both?
When you work there, you work both.
Oh, you do? Okay. Yeah. All right, that's pretty cool. So what do you do? So you're still at BP?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you do now at BP?
I am now the general manager and have been since February.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So was you like assistant manager for a while and then got to general manager, or how'd that work?
Yeah, so I started there. It started off kind of weak. My only goal at the time was to just come there, hang out, do a little bit of work, make some money.
Right.
And after so many months, I kind of realized that that's not really what I wanted to do. I kind of wanted something more for myself. I wanted to be more mature, be more responsible, kind of like put my life in a better direction, kind of move forward. And I just kind of knuckled down and decided that I was going to be, the best I could be.
Right.
And
somebody noticed.
Yeah. Eventually somebody noticed. I got the assistant manager job, and from there on, I spent close to a year, I'd say, as the assistant manager.
Yeah.
And then the general manager at the time, a good buddy of mine, Dylan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Dylan well.
That's right. He was the general manager at the time, and he kind of helped me through all that and really, put me on to stuff, helped me grow up, and
showed you the ropes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had plans to leave and get another job. And he said, you're the guy now. I'm going to have to teach you, everything I know. And then from then on, you're the man. And in February, he left. And I took over, and I've been ever since.
That's awesome. So what's it like being? I mean, I'm sure I run the natural gas department at the plant board. And I'm sure it's it's probably not as different as you'd think.
Yeah.
But what do you do?
So honestly, it has its moments. It can be super stressful sometimes, and other times it really just kind of feels like a normal day.
Yeah.
A lot more handling money, a lot more handling customers. It's, when you're just working somewhere,
You don't
like
really care
with the
about that stuff.
public. Yeah. I mean, when you're just working with the public, you have somebody that'll come up and say something to you, and it's easy to just kind of be like, ask that guy.
Yeah. But now you're that
now
guy.
I'm that guy. So I can't just kind of be like, hey, let me just push that off to the side.
Yeah.
Dealing with stuff like that, scheduling, putting people in places, hiring people, just kind of talking to more people. You can't be timid. You can't just sit back and, not talk to anybody. Like, you have to engage with people. And it really helped my social skills too.
Right. Yeah. So. You see that? See, I don't have to deal with none of the scheduling or none of the hiring. Yeah. Basically, the public is kind of, I think, where we meet middle ground.
Right.
And I deal with the public,
Oh yeah,
every day.
Yeah.
And you do too. So public works, it's a different beast.
Yeah, it has its moments. It has its ups and downs for sure.
Yeah. So how long have you been at BP now?
Let's see. It's been over 2 years. I'm almost positive April made 2 years.
Yeah.
So here we are, and like toward the end of October.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's like,
man.
what, 2.5 years?
Yeah,
roughly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, thinking back on that, I'm just like, wow, 2.5 years.
Yeah, that's sweet. But I mean, you got to where you wanted to be, though.
Absolutely. It's been a lot for me, really. Growing up and graduating high school.
Yeah.
And, I didn't really spend much time doing anything. So I just kind of lingering around.
Right.
I didn't really know. I was kind of stuck in that spot. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what I wanted to be, where I wanted to go, who I wanted to be.
Right.
And over the past few years, with help from different people and also kind of like my own knowledge of things, just kind of coming into myself and realizing like who I want to be and the things that I want to do.
Yeah.
It's really done a lot for me.
Right. Do you think the 1 semester of college helped you out? Because I mean, technically, like you're still doing the same career that you went to college for. Business.
That's fair. Yeah, thinking on that is fair. I think at the time I didn't see it.
Right.
But thinking back on it now, it's one of those things where it's still something that happened in my life. It's still something that I realized was like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
So I know now that when I go back, I know what it was like.
Yeah.
And I know I have a better understanding
now,
and I'm more mature. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know like what I need to be doing.
Do you plan on going back to school?
I really would like to. It's another thing that, it never hurts to have that under your belt, and it just opens up so many more opportunities. It's when you have a degree in something and you have a certain level of knowledge of something, then it kind of, puts you in your own bracket.
Yeah. Puts you like higher up on the totem, like on the hiring totem pole.
Yeah. Right.
That makes sense. So you've been at BP for 2 years.
Yeah.
So have you started doing anything like lifting? That's where we met. Is that I knew you before that.
Right. There it is.
But I don't know how to transition between there. So let's just put it all out there.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So if we're gonna touch on that, that is probably the second biggest thing in my life right now. If working and running a store is number one, then lifting is probably number two. Back in October of last year, I just wasn't really happy with myself. I was a little overweight, round in the face, was just kind of eating whatever, whenever, however much I wanted. And then I kind of took a look at myself one day and was like, this just isn't for me. I want to be in better shape. I want to look better. And from that day on, I just kind of hit the ground running. I completely cut out everything that I didn't need to be doing. Started watching as much YouTube as I can, like all the fitness guys out there that you could ever imagine. Like I said, eating better, going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, just the whole 9.
Right. Yeah. I know you asked me. I remember one day you asked me. You said, "Now, do you track what you eat?"
Yeah.
No, I don't. I come to the gym and I just lift and then I go home. Yeah. But like you said, you jumped into it.
Absolutely.
Like from day one, you're like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. Let's not, mess around with it.
Right.
Let's get it. So what? So you didn't like how you looked and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of? I know me and Chris we talked.
Yeah.
And was there any kind of like me? I go to the gym for my physical appearance, but also like my mental. Like it helps me like mentally. Was that a play in it at all? You think?
So let's see. The best way I can put this is for me personally. I've always been like very self-conscious about my image. You know, growing up, I was never super athletic. I was never like super fit. I'm not that tall, like not that strong. There's not much there. You know, I'm just your typical average guy.
Yeah.
And you know, growing up, I thought that wasn't good enough.
Right.
That I had to be better than that.
Yeah.
And once I got to that point, I was just kind of like, you know, I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that other people look at as like a role model. Right. Like, hey, you know, like if there's something that I want to do, like if this guy can do it, I can do it. Right. You know, he's not, you know, I didn't get thrown into good graces. Like I wasn't the guy that was always, you know, on the top of the totem pole. Like I had to fight my way up. It's like about an underdog story for me, you know, rather that sounds cliche or not, you know. It's like that's what's most important to me is like saying that I had to work really hard for what I have.
Yeah. Us average guys, you know, we don't have the good genes.
You know.
We gotta work for everything we got. Yeah. So did you have any goals whenever like working out goals? Did you have any whenever you first started?
With that, it started off the goal was to just lose weight.
Yeah.
At first. And then
but then you got into it, didn't you?
Oh yeah. By the time 3-4 months rolled around and I actually started to notice that I was losing the weight and that I was developing, it just kind of ate me alive. Like I felt like that was the only thing that I knew how to do. It was my sole purpose was to just lift and continue to lose weight and look better and better and better. And then at some point, like I would have the absolute like physique that I'd ever dreamed of, and everything was gonna fall into place.
Yeah, you didn't think it was like me. Like I didn't think it was possible. Like my first 3 to 4 months, I lost like 20 pounds, and I like you hear people doing that, and you don't like me. I didn't really understand how much work it took.
Yeah.
You know, people say, "Well, I just walk and I lost so and so pounds." Like, well, I couldn't do that.
Right.
Like I had to, like I was in the gym like 5 days a week. And I would try to take off on the weekends, but I was like you. Whenever I first started, I was so ate up, and I'm like, sometimes I'd go like 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And like if I was bored, if I was sitting here at the house and I was bored, and Skylar was working, I'm like, well, let's go get a quick lift in.
Right.
And like we have on call rotations at work, and if I was on call, I couldn't do anything. Like I couldn't leave more hit, nothing like that. Sometimes I'd do 2 days.
Oh my god.
And I'd work out in the mornings, and then in the evenings I'd come do cardio.
Yeah.
So like it takes a lot. There's a lot to it, but you can do a lot with your body.
Absolutely.
Like you can make it change. I mean, I don't want to say quick, but fairly quick. You can.
Oh yeah.
Like you can see. I can't remember. Somebody was telling me. They said you'll notice how you look different in the first month, and then in the first 2 months, it takes somebody else to notice.
Yeah.
And I mean, 2 months. That's not super long.
No, not at all.
But I mean, that's really cool. So was that the kind of the only goals that you set? You just want to lose weight?
At the time, it was lose as much weight as I could and like look better.
Yeah.
And then after it kind of, you know, took hold and I started to lose the weight, then it became okay, you know, if I'm already losing this weight, and obviously YouTube and like appearances play a big role in this. I seen all these guys out here, they were just shredded out of their mind.
Right.
So then the goal became, I want to be like those guys. So now I just want to be super shredded.
Yeah.
And I continued to lose more and more and more weight. And then at a certain point, I realized it's like, you know, I do like the way I look, and I'm very like humbled by this whole experience. Like I'm glad I've made it this far. But now I kind of want to be stronger. Like now I need to build myself back up because I got so like in my head about breaking it down.
Yeah.
So
So is that like if you started like with me, I know I probably don't do it right, but with me, like if I wanted to gain muscle, like I just lift like
Yeah.
super heavy.
Yeah.
Have you started doing that, or like what are you doing to try to switch it?
So as of right now, eating more is like number one thing.
But eating right,
Right,
like
right.
eating the okay. See, I can't do that. Like I can eat, but I can't
Yeah.
eat the right stuff.
I've definitely been slacking the past, like I'd say about month or two.
Okay.
I mean, everybody has good days and bad
Yeah.
days. But I think what ended up happening was I kind of started to slack a little bit,
Yeah.
and then it kind of turned into the whole, well, I'm already slacking a little bit, but I do need to gain the weight. So might as well dirty bulk,
Yeah.
might as well just eat as much of whatever I can.
Yeah.
And now I fast forward and it's like, yeah, maybe that was working or maybe it could work, but I don't feel comfortable doing it. I
Yeah.
would much rather go back to being on like a legitimate diet and
Yeah.
like building up that way. There's like a split in the community. You have a lot of people that have made good progress by dirty bulking, and then you have people that clean, do it 100% right, and get the results that they get. So
Yeah. I guess I would be classified as a dirty bulker.
hey man, it works for some people. Like you
See,
see you see people out there and it's crazy.
yeah, I don't
For
know if
real.
it's working for me or not, but as long as I maintain the weight that I'm comfortable at,
Yeah.
then I'm good.
No, absolutely.
And I try to work towards that because I got down to like 175
Yeah.
and I felt really like light. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
yes.
And right now I'm sitting at 185 and I feel
Feel
good.
better?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like what made me want to start going to the gym. I couldn't bend over and tie my work boots.
Oh, wow.
Try that. I'll get out of breath
Yeah.
tying my boots. And I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this.
Yeah.
I can't do this no more.
I feel that.
And then I lost all the weight. And then, like, whenever I started, I was at 205 and I couldn't even bench 135.
Yeah.
Like, it was like whenever I remember the day I hit 135, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm the man.
Absolutely.
Like, I am the man. And it just started from there.
Yeah.
And I've started cutting back because I burnt myself out.
For
And,
sure.
and I
Yeah.
hope that you don't get burnt out because I did. I went 5 to 7 days a week, sometimes 2 a
Absolutely.
days, and I got burnt out.
Yeah, man.
So I'm trying to get excited for the gym
For sure.
again. Like where I'm at right now, I'm like, I know I gotta go because I know how I feel and I like how I feel. But I've only been going like 3 days a week now.
Yeah, yeah.
But I switched up my scheme and stuff like that. But I don't know. Like some days I don't go and I'm like, gosh, I feel like a
Yeah.
blob.
It,
You
it
know what I
gets in
mean?
your head, man. It
Yeah.
really does.
Because I'm so like for a year I went 5 days a week and I'm like, that's what I got used to.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Hopefully I get used to this now.
Right.
But I might like I change up my rep scheme like once a month or once every month.
Right.
So like next month I might, get a wild hair and just be like, all right, let's start going 5 days a week. Yeah, I don't know.
Right. Exactly.
But it takes up a lot of time though.
It really does. That's something that I've noticed between eating, actually being in the gym, and trying to get everything done that I feel like I need to get done.
Yeah.
It just becomes like such a big part of my day, which to me isn't a problem. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you feel like you're neglecting other aspects of your
Right.
life.
That's exactly how I feel.
Right.
Like as soon as I get off work, I come home, hang out with Skylar for a little bit, and then
Right.
she goes to work and I go to the gym. But I don't get home sometimes till like 8 o'clock.
Yes.
And then I
yes.
got laundry. I know it sounds like I'm bitching, but like
I
got like other stuff to do. And sometimes I have to work over at work.
Yeah.
And I've always told myself, I said, if I work until 6 o'clock, I can't go to the gym because
Right.
I gotta get ready for the next day.
Yeah.
And you gotta eat. You gotta remember to eat. Like
You
that is
have
possible.
to.
And
Absolutely.
I know a lot of people's like, oh, you got all the time in the world. Really, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I did at one point, but now sometimes it feels like everything's just closing in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then whenever you feel like, for me, whenever I feel like everything's closing in, I go to the gym.
Yeah.
And then I just work out. The gym has really, I mean, I know I've said this on this podcast probably 5 or 6 times, but the gym's really helped me.
Yeah.
And if somebody's out there that's struggling and they're like, I don't know, I need some way to release aggression or I don't like how I look and stuff like that, go to the gym.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like I said, I've said that so many times, but it helps. Even but where we go to the gym, we know everybody. So
sure.
it's like going and working out with your friends.
Absolutely.
But I remember the first time I went, I didn't know nobody. Like I'd go by myself and I'd just work out, you know what I mean? And maybe you can make some new friendships there. I
Right.
mean, that's how we started hanging out. Like before,
Yeah,
like we went to
sure.
high school together,
Yeah,
and we never
absolutely.
talked or nothing, but the gym just brought us together.
Right. It was just kind of like a vague like acquaintance.
Yeah.
For the fact that we were kind of in the same friend group,
Yeah, through
like
Dylan
yeah,
is what it
like
was.
we
Yeah.
knew people
Yeah.
like in similarities,
Yeah.
but that's about as far as it went at the
Yeah.
time.
And now I see you at the gym. I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a good lift sesh. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So obviously you lost the weight.
Right.
I mean, so you met that goal. Do you have any like goals now?
At this point now, is to gain some of the weight back,
Yeah.
but in a good
In a
way.
good way. Yeah.
Just continue to get stronger and just stay consistent. Continue to spend year after year, developing and just getting bigger and better.
See,
That's really about it.
see, my goals I would set is like my goal was to hit 135.
For sure.
For some reason, all my goals is through benching. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I feel like if I'm benching, then I'm like getting better in the gym. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like my first goal was like 135 and then 155 and then 185, 205, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Do you have any goals like that? Or is it for me, like I have to set like a set number.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I'm sure not everybody's like that.
Yeah.
But like what kind of goal? I mean, obviously you want to gain muscle. Like how are you gonna know that you met them goals?
So let's see.
I know that's a hard hitting question.
Yeah, no, I feel it though.
Very, very vague.
The adding like a number to things,
Yeah.
like I'm the same way. It makes a lot of sense. It's one thing to, just for number's sake, say that you could do like 100 pounds of something.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh yeah, I want to do 300.
Yeah.
Like obviously that is an extremely large jump, and that becomes a very long-term goal.
Yeah.
That can still be your goal,
Right.
but you know that that's going to take you a long time.
Yeah.
To me, it's easier to set smaller increments.
Yes.
Because they're more achievable.
Right.
It takes less time, and you feel like you're
you feel like you're doing something.
Yeah, you're reaching those hurdles.
Yeah, because I remember I was like, whenever I first started, I was like I said, I was 205.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to do 205. Like that, and that was a long-term goal. But it took a while for me to get there.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's whenever I realized I need to sit down and I need to figure out my small term small term goals. And that's wherever the 135, 155, stuff like that came to play. But that's just kind of how I did it. Yeah. I really didn't know if other people do that.
For sure. No, like with benching, I've not tried to max on that in a little while. Because back when I did try, I was putting up more weight and I felt good about it. Yeah. I felt like I was like relatively strong.
Yeah.
Well, I started to lose all that weight, and because I was losing all that weight, I had nothing behind me to like continue to push that heavy weight. Exactly. Yeah. So my bench would go down. Yeah. And then it was just very deflating to be like, well, I'm looking better, but I'm getting weaker. And it was just such a turn off to me that I was just like, man, what do I do from here?
See, that's what I started doing. Like I noticed, because whenever I got down to like I said, when I got down to 175, like I feel like I plateaued so much easier.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a fan.
Yeah,
so I
absolutely.
just ate. I had a seafood diet. I saw food and I ate it.
Yeah.
And I gained 10 pounds back, and I'm like, all right, let's stick here.
Yeah.
Let's see where I can go with this. So what's next? What do you got? What do you got up your sleeve?
Oh man. So really just continue to work, be the best that I can be there, continue to keep that place running as well as it can, stay in the gym, continue to be consistent, continue to improve my physique and reach the goals that I want to reach, get a house, move out with my girlfriend and kind of move on to that next phase of my life, and just, be more responsible, be more mature, be better with my money. Just, I don't know, kind of take that next step and being the best version of myself that I can be.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
That's really
sweet. Well, I hope you do it.
Yeah, man. it's a journey, but everybody gets there in their own time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's awesome. Well, I really appreciate it. You coming on. Guys, just make sure that you like and you subscribe, and I'll make sure I put Gage's socials in the bio. But thank you. Thanks for hanging out with us.